Okay, so dealing with insurance companies,
Yeah.
especially after an accident, can feel like walking into a maze blindfolded.
Right.
You don't know where you're going, and it's easy to get lost.
Absolutely.
And that's especially true, I think, for personal injury claims,
Mm-hmm.
where the stakes are high and the system is honestly can seem designed to trip you up.
Yeah.
So in this deep dive today,
Right.
we're going to take you behind the curtain
Right.
using some real insider information
Right.
from sources who've seen the insurance playbook firsthand,
Sounds good.
and we're going to help you decode their tactics so you can walk in prepared and ready to protect yourself.
I like it.
So it can feel like a David and Goliath situation.
Definitely.
And one of the most frustrating things is that many insurance companies operate using a strategy that's actually summed up quite bluntly: delay, deny, defend.
Yeah, I've heard that phrase.
It's a phrase that gets thrown around a lot, I think, but
Uh-huh.
understanding what it really means in practice
Right.
can be a real eye-opener.
For sure.
So delay, deny, defend.
Yep.
It sounds like a legal thriller,
Kind of does.
like a John Grisham novel.
Yeah.
But for someone who's been in an accident and is trying to file a claim, what does that actually look like?
Well, the delay part is all about creating obstacles
Okay.
to slow down the claims process.
Gotcha.
Think about it. You've just been through something traumatic.
Right.
You're likely in pain, dealing with medical bills, maybe even missing work.
Yeah.
It's a vulnerable time.
Mm-hmm.
And that's exactly what some insurance companies capitalize on.
So they're hoping that you'll get so frustrated and just accept whatever they offer
Pretty much, yeah.
just to make it stop?
Exactly. They might repeatedly request documents,
Okay.
reschedule appointments,
Mm-hmm.
or simply take an eternity to respond to your calls and emails.
Yeah.
These delays can stretch out for weeks, even months.
Wow.
And that takes a toll. People start feeling the pressure, the bills pile up,
Right.
and suddenly that initial offer, even if it's way below what you deserve, starts to look more appealing.
It's like a war of attrition designed to wear you down,
Yeah,
emotionally and financially.
that's a good way to put it.
So it's about recognizing that these delays are often intentional,
Right.
not just a result of inefficiency.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes things just take time,
Right.
but a lot of times these delays are deliberate.
So knowing this, what can people do to counter those delay tactics?
Hmm.
Our sources mentioned meticulous documentation
It's a-
as a key defense, but what does that really mean in practice?
Well, you'd be surprised how often seemingly insignificant details
Okay.
become crucial later on.
Like what?
Think about the weather conditions at the time of the accident.
Okay.
Was it raining?
Gotcha.
Was there ice on the road?
Right.
These factors can impact liability and might be disputed by the insurance company down the line.
That makes sense. So it's about anticipating their potential arguments
Yeah,
and gathering evidence to support your version of events from the very beginning.
exactly. Another often overlooked detail is witness contact information.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Even if you think a witness didn't see much, their perspective could be valuable later on.
Okay.
So get their names,
Mm-hmm.
phone numbers,
Yep.
and even a brief statement if possible.
Wow. It sounds like you really need to be a detective in your own case.
In a way, yes.
So you're building a strong foundation for your claim,
Right.
making it harder for the insurance company to dispute the facts later on.
Exactly.
So, okay, let's say you've documented everything meticulously, you've got your evidence lined up, but the insurance company still tries to deny your claim.
Uh-huh.
What happens then?
That's when the deny phase kicks in.
Okay.
They might argue that your policy doesn't cover this specific type of incident,
Right.
that you are somehow at fault,
Mm.
or that there's not enough evidence to support the extent of your injuries.
So they're looking for any loophole they can find to avoid paying out.
Pretty much, yeah.
It's kind of terrifying, honestly.
It can be. And this is where understanding some key legal concepts can be really helpful.
Okay.
For example, you might hear them talk about pre-existing conditions.
Right. I've heard that phrase before, but what does it actually mean in this context?
Essentially, they're looking for any previous injuries or medical conditions
Okay.
that they can blame for your current pain or limitations.
Gotcha.
Let's say you had back pain 5 years ago.
Right.
They might try to argue that your current back pain is a result of that old injury,
Mm.
not the recent accident.
Even if it's completely unrelated.
Exactly. They're trying to shift the blame.
Even if it's a stretch.
Yeah, even if it's a stretch.
So that's why it's crucial to be upfront with your doctor about your entire medical history,
Definitely.
so they can document accurately what's related to the accident, what's not.
That's right.
It sounds like you really need to have your ducks in a row, legally speaking.
Yeah.
Our sources strongly emphasize the importance of seeking legal counsel early on. Why is that so crucial?
Having an experienced attorney on your side can be a game changer.
How so?
They speak the language of insurance companies, they know the law,
Yeah.
and they can anticipate the tactics that might be used against you.
Okay.
It's like having a translator and a strategist all in one.
So they're not just there to fight for you in court, they're guiding you through the entire process.
Right.
Making sure you don't make any missteps along the way.
Exactly. They can help you gather the right evidence,
Mm-hmm.
communicate effectively with the insurance company,
Okay.
and even negotiate a fair settlement on your behalf.
Right.
Remember, insurance companies have entire legal teams working for them.
Yeah. That's intimidating.
You deserve to have someone in your corner, too.
It's starting to feel like you need a law degree just to file an insurance claim.
Kind of does, doesn't it?
But even with a lawyer, it sounds like these insurance companies have a lot of power in this system.
That's true, and that brings us to the defend part of their strategy.
Okay.
If they can't deny your claim outright,
Right.
they'll try to minimize their payout by making the process as difficult and expensive as possible.
So they're hoping to make it so costly and time-consuming that you'll eventually give up and accept a lower settlement.
Exactly. They might hire expensive expert witnesses to challenge your medical records.
Oh.
Or they might drag out the litigation process hoping you'll run out of resources or patience.
It's like they're trying to bully you into submission.
It can feel that way, but knowing their tactics is the first step to counteracting them.
Okay.
You're not powerless in this situation.
Well, I'm definitely starting to feel less like I'm walking into a maze blindfolded,
That's good.
but there's still so much to uncover.
Right.
The next part of our deep dive will explore more specific tactics insurance companies use,
Yes.
including some pretty shocking things like surveillance and social media snooping.
It's true. They have an arsenal of tools at their disposal.
Okay.
But so we'll arm you with the knowledge you need to fight back.
I like it.
All right.
Sounds good.
Looking forward to it.
Me too.
Yeah.
Welcome back to the deep dive. We've just scratched the surface of insurance tactics, and I have to say I'm already feeling a bit more wary, maybe even a little paranoid.
Yeah, it's easy to get spooked, but...
But before we spiral into full-on conspiracy theory mode,
Right.
let's get back to the facts.
Okay.
We were talking about how insurance companies sometimes use this delay, deny, defend strategy to gain an advantage in personal injury cases. What are some of the more specific and maybe even sneaky tactics they might employ?
Well, let's talk about surveillance.
Okay.
It's a tactic that often gets portrayed in movies and TV shows.
Right.
And while it might seem a bit far-fetched, it's actually more common than you might think.
Wait, you mean they actually hire private investigators to follow people around?
Yes, sometimes they do.
Like real-life spies?
It can feel that way. They might hire investigators to observe your activities, hoping to catch you doing something that contradicts your claim.
Okay.
Let's say you've filed a claim for a back injury,
Mhm.
and you've told the insurance company that you're unable to lift heavy objects. They might have an investigator follow you to the grocery store, hoping to film you carrying heavy bags.
That's creepy. It feels like an invasion of privacy.
It can feel that way, and it highlights the importance of being honest and accurate with your doctor about your limitations.
Okay.
Exaggerating your injuries might seem tempting,
Right?
but it can backfire if the insurance company has evidence to the contrary.
So it's not just about being truthful, it's about protecting yourself from these kinds of tactics.
Exactly. And surveillance isn't limited to physical observation.
Oh, really?
They might also monitor your social media accounts, looking for photos or posts that contradict your claims.
Interesting.
Let's say you said you're too injured to participate in your weekly bowling league,
Right.
but then they find photos of you bowling on Facebook.
Wow. So they're really digging deep, looking for any inconsistency they can find. It makes you think twice about what you post online, doesn't it?
It does, and it's a reminder that anything you post online can potentially be used against you, not just in insurance claims, but in other legal situations as well.
So it's not just about being careful about what you say to the insurance company, it's about being mindful of your entire online presence.
Exactly. It's a whole new level of scrutiny.
Okay, so beyond surveillance, what other tactic should people be aware of?
Another common one is what I call the quick settlement offer.
I've heard of those. Isn't it good to settle quickly, though? I mean, who wants to drag things out?
That's what they're hoping. You'll think they might dangle a seemingly generous offer in front of you, hoping you'll snatch it up before you fully understand the extent of your injuries or the long-term financial implications.
So they're preying on that desire to just get it over with, to move on.
Exactly. But here's the catch. Once you accept a settlement, it's extremely difficult to go back and ask for more,
Right.
even if your condition worsens or you discover unforeseen expenses down the road.
So it's like signing away your rights to future compensation.
In essence, yes, that's why it's so crucial to consult with an attorney before accepting any settlement offer. They can help you assess the true value of your claim, taking into account not just your current medical bills, but also potential future costs like ongoing treatment rehabilitation, lost wages, and even the impact on your earning capacity.
It makes you wonder if they're deliberately targeting people who are more likely to be pressured into accepting a quick settlement, like those who might not have access to legal representation or who are facing financial hardship.
That's a valid concern, and it's why it's so important to raise awareness about these tactics so that people can make informed decisions.
Okay, so we've talked about surveillance, quick settlements, and the importance of having a lawyer in your corner. What other tactics should people be aware of?
Another common one is questioning the necessity of your medical treatment.
Okay.
They might argue that certain procedures, medications, or therapies prescribed by your doctor weren't actually necessary or that they were too expensive. They
Really?
might even try to downplay your injury, suggesting that you're exaggerating your pain or limitations.
But wait, isn't your doctor the expert on your medical needs?
You would think so, right?
Yeah.
But insurance companies often have their own medical experts who review your records and offer opinions that support their position, even if those opinions contradict your treating physician.
So they're basically trying to second guess your doctor's judgment.
Exactly. And it can be very frustrating, especially if you're genuinely suffering and you feel like your medical needs are being dismissed.
It's like they're trying to control every aspect of your treatment, even though they're not the ones who are injured.
That's a good point. And it highlights the power imbalance that often exists in these situations. You're dealing with a large corporation with vast resources, and it can feel overwhelming.
So what can people do to protect themselves from having their medical treatment questioned or denied?
Communication is key. Be open and honest with your doctor about your symptoms and limitations, and make sure they document everything thoroughly in your medical records.
Okay.
If the insurance company requests a second opinion, make sure it's from a doctor who specializes in your type of injury and who has a reputation for being impartial.
So it's not just about getting treatment, it's about making sure that treatment is properly documented and supported by medical evidence.
Precisely, you're creating a paper trail that will be harder for the insurance company to refute.
This is all starting to feel like a high-stakes game of chess.
Kind of is.
You need to anticipate their moves, protect your pieces, and stay one step ahead.
That's a good analogy, and it's why having a skilled lawyer on your side is so crucial. They're like your grandmaster, guiding you through the complexities of the game and helping you make strategic decisions.
So far, we've mainly focused on the insurance company's tactics, but what about the emotional side of things? Dealing with an injury and navigating the claims process can be incredibly stressful, and I imagine that plays right into the insurance company's hands.
Absolutely. Stress and emotional vulnerability can cloud your judgment and make you more susceptible to pressure tactics. Insurance companies know this, and they might use it to their advantage.
So they're not just playing a legal game, they're playing a psychological one as well.
In a way, yes, they might try to intimidate you with legal jargon, overwhelm you with paperwork, or simply wear you down with delays and denials.
So what can people do to protect themselves emotionally during this process?
One of the most important things is to recognize that these tactics are often intentional. They're designed to make you feel powerless and discouraged, so that you'll be more likely to settle for less than you deserve.
So it's about recognizing that it's not just you, it's the system.
Exactly. It's not a personal failing on your part. It's a strategy that's used against many people in similar situations.
Knowing that can be empowering, can't it? It takes away some of the shame and self-blame.
It can, and it allows you to focus on what you can control, which is taking care of yourself and building a strong support system.
That sounds like good advice for anyone, really, regardless of whether they're dealing with an insurance claim or not. But what does self-care look like in this context?
It means prioritizing your physical and emotional well-being. Make sure you're getting enough sleep, eating healthy foods, and finding ways to manage stress, whether it's through exercise, meditation, spending time in nature, or connecting with loved ones.
It's about giving yourself permission to heal, both physically and emotionally.
Exactly. And don't underestimate the power of support. Talk to friends and family about what you're going through. Join a support group, or seek professional help from a therapist or counselor. You don't have to go through this alone.
It sounds like it's not just about winning the legal battle, it's about winning the mental and emotional battle as well.
That's a great way to put it, because at the end of the day, even if you get a large settlement, it won't truly compensate you if you're left feeling broken and defeated.
This has been a lot to process, and we've only just scratched the surface. In the final part of our deep dive, We'll zoom out a bit and explore the broader implications of these tactics, looking at the ethical and societal questions they raise. But first, I think we all need a moment to catch our breath and maybe grab a stress ball. Welcome back to the deep dive. It's been a bit of a roller coaster ride through the world of insurance tactics, and honestly, it's left me feeling a bit disillusioned. Maybe even a tad cynical.
I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, peering behind the curtain isn't always fun.
But I guess that's the point of a deep dive, right?
Exactly, to
Mhm.
confront those less than savory realities.
Okay, so let's tackle those gray areas head on.
Right.
We've spent the past two segments detailing some of the tactics insurance companies use to minimize payouts.
Hmm.
Tactics that some might argue are aggressive, maybe even manipulative.
Yeah, I can see that.
But isn't it their job to protect their bottom line?
Well, yeah, they are businesses, right?
Right.
Not charities.
Exactly.
They have to make money.
It's a business.
But it's about finding that balance
Well,
between profit and people.
and it sounds like from what we've been discussing, the scales often tip in favor of profit.
They do, especially when it comes to personal injury claims.
And why is that?
Well, these cases can be complex, lengthy, and costly for insurance companies, so they have a strong incentive to minimize payouts whenever possible.
So that's where those tactics come into play.
Exactly.
Delaying the process, disputing liability, questioning medical treatment,
Mm-hmm.
all in the name of saving money.
Yeah, but you have to think about the human cost.
Right. What about the individuals who are caught in this system?
Exactly. That's the ethical dilemma. When insurance companies prioritize profit over people, it can have devastating consequences.
Like what?
Individuals facing mounting medical bills, lost wages, the emotional strain of an injury.
Right.
They're often pushed to their breaking point, forced to accept settlements that fall far short of covering their true losses.
It sounds like a classic David and Goliath situation,
It really does.
where the individual is often at a significant disadvantage.
Absolutely, and it makes you question the fairness of it all. You know?
Right. Like, do individuals with limited resources,
Mhm.
those who can't afford legal representation or who are just overwhelmed by the system, do they have an equal chance?
It's hard to say.
Yeah.
I mean, ideally everyone would, but
It's like the system itself is rigged against them.
it can feel that way. And when people feel like they can't rely on institutions to protect them,
Yeah.
it erodes trust.
Right.
It leads to disillusionment.
So it's not just about insurance claims.
No, it's bigger than that.
It's about the fabric of society itself.
Exactly. It's about fairness, transparency, accountability, ensuring that systems serve the needs of the people, not just the interests of powerful corporations.
Okay, so we've painted a pretty bleak picture here.
Yeah.
Is there any hope? Are there any signs that things are changing?
There are glimmers of hope. Consumer advocacy groups, legal organizations are working to raise awareness,
Good.
pushing for legislative reforms, holding insurance companies accountable.
So it's about shining a light on these tactics and demanding better.
Exactly. Sunlight is the best disinfectant.
And as more people become aware,
Mm-hmm.
the less effective those tactics become.
Right, hopefully.
That's encouraging. But what can individuals do beyond educating themselves? Are there any practical steps?
Yeah, absolutely. The most important thing is to be informed and proactive. Know your rights, understand your insurance policy, and document everything.
Okay.
If you're dealing with a personal injury claim, seek legal counsel early on.
Get a lawyer.
An experienced attorney can be your advocate, guide you through the process, help you level the playing field.
So it's not just about knowing the rules of the game.
Nope.
It's about having a skilled player on your team.
Exactly. And remember, you're not alone. There are resources available to help you, and you deserve to be treated fairly.
Well, this deep dive has certainly been an eye-opener. We've gone from feeling blindsided to feeling empowered, or at least a bit more prepared.
I'm glad to hear that.
Thank you for guiding us through this complex and often unfair terrain.
It's been my pleasure. Remember, knowledge is power. The more you know, the better equipped you'll be.
We'll be back next week with another deep dive into a topic that's sure to spark your curiosity. Until then, stay curious, stay informed, and stay empowered.